Okay, for those of you who are checking out the YouTube channel, this is your test review. So, we did this in class: intensive properties, extensive properties. We did this little data table where you have mass 1, 2, 3, property R, property T, and you see property R changes and property T does not change. Therefore, property T is intensive and property R is extensive. Okay, you've got to know your physical and chemical changes. So here's your physical ones from this list. These are things that are on the test. And here's your chemical one from this list. Okay, chemical or physical change. Something separated into two substances with the same physical properties as the original substance is a physical change. If the properties are different from the original substance, it's a chemical change. Okay, solid to liquid is melting, solid to gas, sublimation, liquid to gas, evaporation, or boiling depending on the temperature, gas to liquid, condensation, liquid to solid, freezing. Okay, here are your intensive and extensive properties and chemical changes, or chemical properties. So you can pause this anytime. Drawing of each substance. There's the solid with the molecules tightly packed. So they're very compact and they're limited to just vibrating. They are not compressible because of very strong intermolecular forces. There's no distance between them. Okay, liquids are still held together. They have a definite volume, but they just take the shape of their container. They are not compressible and they have weak intermolecular forces. Gases don't have a definite shape or volume. They are very compressible because they're very far apart and they don't have any intermolecular forces. All right, these are your separation techniques. They depend on differences in physical properties. Distillation is difference in boiling point, and the two changes are boiling and condensation. Chromatography depends on a difference in the density of the components, the different inks, for instance. The least dense one's going to travel the furthest. Separating different metals can sometimes be accomplished if some of them are magnetic. Filtration depends on a difference in the particle size, so the very small particles can pass through filtration paper. If you are separating a mixture of some things that will float in water and others will not, then you're looking at a difference in their densities. So all of these depend on a difference in this physical property between the things you're trying to separate. Okay, and on the back side you have your elements, compounds, and mixtures. Elements, only one kind of atom. Examples, anything on the periodic table. Drawings, it doesn't matter if it's an atom or a molecule, it's got to be the same kind, and you have to have a chemical reaction to break that bond. Okay, a compound is different kinds of elements, but they're chemically bonded. They're going to have a chemical formula, and it's going to be different kinds of atoms, and you have to have a chemical reaction to break those bonds. And then mixture is just random stuff that is mixed together, but it is not chemically bonded. Okay, seawater, atmosphere, blood, some alloys. So in your drawings, you're going to have different compounds, elements, and the whole thing is a mixture. And I can separate the different parts of those physically, depending on differences in their properties. Okay, your physical changes and vocabulary. Molten means melted. So if something is molten, it is melted. Okay, poison means toxic. Drawing it into a wire is ductile. Conducting a current or heat is conductivity. And then toxic again, it's just a repeat. And then reacting with oxygen is oxidation. Okay, if I have a cube with a density of 0.33 and I break it into two smaller cubes, still going to have the same density because density is intensive, so it does not change. Density doesn't change just because you have smaller pieces or bigger pieces. It does not depend on mass. Okay, so this is for your test.